The briefcase hit the sidewalk with a sound that didn't belong in that part of the city. Not the hollow thud of trash bags or the dull scrape of broken glass, but a heavy, final sound, like fate itself had stumbled. For a moment, everything froze. The billionaire didn't notice. The crowd didn't notice. But the homeless girl did. And when she reached down and opened the case, her hands began to shake, not from fear, but from the weight of a choice that would change far more than her own life. Her name was Lina. Most people never noticed Lina. They stepped around her as if she were part of the pavement, just another shadow curled near the subway stairs. She was 17, though hardship had made her look older. Her jacket was 2 sizes too big, donated by someone who never wondered where it ended up. Her shoes were cracked at the soles. But her eyes still held something rare. Awareness. She watched everything, because when you have nothing, observation becomes survival. That morning had started like most others. Cold. Loud. Hungry. Lina had slept behind a closed bakery, where the smell of bread lingered like a cruel joke. She woke before dawn, folded her thin blanket, and tucked it into her backpack, the only thing she owned that hadn't been stolen yet. She planned to spend the day near the financial district. Not because people there were kinder, but because they were careless. Sometimes they dropped coins. Sometimes sandwiches. Sometimes, if luck bent just right, opportunity. That was when she saw him. The billionaire didn't look like the movies promised. No flashy suit, no arrogance. Just a tall man in a dark coat, walking fast, phone pressed to his ear, eyes sharp but distant. His name was Marcus Hale, though Lina didn't know it yet. He was known in business magazines as ruthless, brilliant, untouchable. He was worth billions, but at that moment, he looked like someone late for something important. Like everyone else, the briefcase slipped from his hand when he stopped suddenly to argue with the voice on the phone. It fell, landed near Lina's feet, and popped open. Cash spilled out, stacks of it. Neatly wrapped. More money than Lina had seen in her entire life. Her breath caught. Her heart slammed so hard she thought she might pass out. People walked by without noticing. A miracle and a test, lying open on the concrete. She could take it. No one would blame her. No one would even know. For a moment, Lina imagined things she had never allowed herself to imagine before. A room with a door that locked. Food that lasted more than a day. School. Safety. Freedom from the cold that gnawed at her bones every night. This money could fix everything. Or at least enough. Her fingers brushed the edge of the briefcase. Then she saw something else. A photo tucked inside, creased, worn. A little girl, maybe 6 years old, smiling with missing teeth, sitting on a man's shoulders. The billionaire's daughter. Something twisted inside Lina's chest. She didn't know why that mattered, but it did. Maybe because Lina had once been a daughter too, before her mother died and her father disappeared into addiction and silence. Before the world taught her that good things didn't last, she stood up, clutching the briefcase, and called out, "Sir." Marcus Hale turned, irritated, ready to snap at whoever had interrupted him. Then he saw her. The girl. The briefcase. Time slowed. "What are you doing with that?" he demanded. Lina swallowed. Her voice shook, but she didn't look away. "You dropped it." She held it out. For a second, Marcus didn't move. He stared at her as if she were something he didn't understand. Not because she was homeless, but because she had a choice, and she'd made the one he never expected. He took the briefcase slowly. That was a lot of money, he said, watching her face closely. I know, Lina replied. Why didn't you take it? The question wasn't kind. It was sharp. Suspicious. Like he was waiting for the trick. Lina shrugged. Because it wasn't mine. Something flickered in Marcus's eyes. Surprise. Guilt. Maybe shame. He opened the case, checked the contents, then closed it again. You could have changed your life with this. She met his gaze. Maybe. Or maybe it would have just ruined it in a different way. Marcus didn't know what to say to that. People were staring now. Someone whispered. Someone filmed on their phone. The moment stretched awkwardly, and Lina shifted her weight, already feeling invisible again. Well, she said quietly, you should be more careful. She turned to leave. Wait, Marcus said. She stopped but didn't turn around. What's your name? Lina. Where do you live? Lina hesitated. Around. Marcus reached into his pocket and pulled out his wallet, then stopped himself. Slowly, deliberately, he put it away. That was the hardest decision you've made in a long time, wasn't it? He asked. Lina nodded once. Then let me make one too, Marcus said. Come with me. Just for coffee. No strings. You can say no. She laughed softly. You don't look like you drink coffee from places that let people like me inside. Marcus smiled faintly. Today, I do. Against every instinct she had, Lina followed him. The cafe was warm. Too warm. Lina's hands trembled as she wrapped them around the mug. Marcus watched her, not like a curiosity, but like a person. That alone unsettled her. They talked, not about money. Not about charity. About life. About mistakes. About how lonely success could be, and how heavy survival was. When they stood to leave, Marcus handed her a card. If you ever need help, not money, but opportunity, call this number. She didn't believe him. Not really. People like him didn't stay, but he did. Weeks later, Lina called. Months later, she was in school. A year later, she had a small apartment and a job. Marcus didn't save her, he walked beside her while she saved herself, and Marcus, that day changed him too. He funded shelters, education programs. But more importantly, he started noticing people again. Really noticing. Years later, at a graduation ceremony, Marcus sat in the crowd as Lina crossed the stage. Confident. Strong. Alive. She looked at him and smiled. That briefcase full of cash had been dropped by accident. What Lina did next, that was a choice, and sometimes, the smallest choice, the quietest act of integrity, has the power to change everything.